Hey guys, Captain Mike, Whiskey and Witerature coming at you tonight with the cool bottles, the cool whiskeys in the house. I picked up this bottle here today. I picked this bottle up a few weeks ago. I've had the Boss Hog for a number of months, and Blanton's we see all over all the time. I have a couple at my house right now, and I wanted to do a short video on one of these whiskeys tonight, but I thought illustrating all of these bottles would kind of show a point. Sometimes when the bottles are really cool, the distillate gets left behind or it gets forgotten. It's the least important part of the whiskey is what's inside the bottle and not the bottle. I think, for example, the Boss Hog, I paid over $600 for this bottle, and reviews for this have been amazing. So I think we can say that the bottle is really nice, the topper is super cool, and I haven't opened it yet. This is my contract bottle, so when we get a contract at work, I'm going to go ahead and open this up. But until then, it's staying closed. I've never had any Boss Hog, but the reviews have been amazing for this whiskey. So I think we can say for Boss Hog, hopefully the distillate matches the bottle. Blanton's, everyone's had. I haven't opened either one of my bottles, but I've had a number of pours of Blanton's at bars and different places and our friends' houses. And Blanton's is a pretty good whiskey. It's a cool looking bottle. It's iconic. We see it all over the place. I have, I think, the B and the T. I guess just starting my Blanton's collection. But they're pretty cool. I'm actually going to Louisville here in a couple of weeks. Maybe I'll pick up another bottle if I can find one there. But I think we can agree that the Blanton's juice matches the cool bottle. I'll just put this away here. So this bottle, I just picked up today. Went to a store, was looking for something else. They didn't have what I was looking for, but I ran across this, looked up a couple reviews, and to be honest, reviews have been mixed for this Yamato, but the bottle was cool enough, I went ahead and picked it up. And like I said, reviews have been mixed. Comes in a really nice box. It's got this nice samurai or something cover on it. I'm hoping that when I open this bottle, again, this distillate matches the pretty cool looking bottle. So we'll see. Like I said, they've been mixed. It's a Japanese whiskey. Japanese takes their inspiration from the Scots. So we'll see. But that brings us to our fourth bottle here. That's kind of a crazy looking bottle. The Payne Black. This is a local whiskey company. I hesitate a little bit in calling it a distillery because I don't really know. I haven't driven to Newport Richey. It's not that far away, but it's far enough away that I just don't want to pop up there to see exactly what's going on at this point. Excuse me. Reading their website and the bottle, it makes me concerned that it's not actually a distillate produced by Payne. It's a blend produced by them. It does not say on the bottle, it does not say on the website that they distill this whiskey. It says that they pick their bottles, or they pick their barrels, and they produce the whiskey. Whenever anyone has asked them that I've seen on their website and on Reddit, quite honestly, all they say is, we produce the whiskey. So I'm assuming that they source this whiskey. If you know, let me know. When I say they source the whiskey, I mean they source the barrels, the distillates, and they make the blend themselves. That sounds pretty legit to me. That's how I understand it anyway. If you go to the website, Payne, just Google search Payne Black, you'll get to this website and you can read what they have, what inspired them to create the whiskey. And it's a nice story. Honestly, each whiskey that I have has a story. Some of them, it's about the history and the legacy of the whiskey. Some of it is about how it's made. Every whiskey has its story, and Payne, they have that story. So feel free to go read about it and check it out and see if that's something that piques your interest. I was at a local restaurant. Mrs. Captain and I had some dinner. I was walking home to get my 10,000 steps per day, and it was hot as balls outside, and it was a fairly long walk, so I stopped at my local liquor store just to get some of their air conditioning. And I know the owner, so I talk to him quite often. And they happen to have everything on the shelf was kind of normal, like same things that I see when I go in there, except the Payne Black. And I like to support my local liquor stores. So I picked this bottle up. It looked pretty cool, and I didn't really know anything about it. I didn't even really read about it. It just looked cool enough. $59. I just picked it up and carried it home, and then I read about it. It is a blended whiskey infused with black currant. Currant. It's a tart berry or fruit. I'm not sure if it's a berry or a fruit. If you know, feel free to comment below. It is, I'm assuming this bottle is not tinted at all. It is a very, very dark whiskey. It says blended whiskey infused with natural black currant, 750 milliliters, bottled at 90 proof. So when you get it, it has so this is a pour spout. So you basically don't even take the topper off. You pour it right out of the gargoyle's mouth. It comes with a prophylactic on it, covering the gargoyle's face, which I'm assuming in between uses you're going to want to save this and put it back on to keep any contaminants or dust from getting inside there. There's also, you have to pull the topper off, and on the bottom of the topper there is another cover on the spout on the inside. I have not had any of this whiskey. I'm just going to pour some in this bottle neat, and we're going to see what we think. How about you? Have you had any Payne Black? I don't buy many blended whiskeys. Well, I don't buy many blended American whiskeys. A lot of Canadian whiskeys are blended. Well, let's see how this goes. That's pretty cool. That's awesome. Wow, look at that. Super red. I don't know if you can see that, how dark that is. Really, really rich. I'm not going to say cough syrup. I'm holding it up to the light here. Looks really red, which kind of goes with their is the word motif. Their branding. It's kind of like I've kind of a goth kind of feeling. What I got obviously from the Gargoyle and reading their website. Seems a little alternative and punkish. I think that's kind of fitting the color. I'm not gonna say red necessarily, but possibly like a really dark red, copperishy. Looks really nice. Age-wise, I've seen a couple different things, so I'm not gonna say any age on it. It doesn't have an age on the bottle at all. A seductive blend for those that seek to expand the possibilities of the night. Yep, no age, not age stated. I don't think the website said anything either. I've seen a couple comments online, 3 years and 7 years. I can't speak to that, not sure. I know that this is non-age stated though, so. Cheers. Wow. Very sweet nose. Sweet? No. It's definitely whiskey. Of course it's whiskey, right? If that's a black, have you had black currant? I don't think I've had a black currant. Is it a really tart cherry? Maybe that's what I'm picking up on there. I don't drink any whiskeys with cherry in it. I might put a cherry in my old fashioned. And if Payne, if you're watching this on your website, you refer to it an old fashioned. I think it's called an old fashioned with an ED. That's a typo on your website. Okay, maybe there's a hint of that. It's pretty subtle. It's a very subtle nose. Of course, I just opened it, very first pour. You can see how long it's been sitting in here. Not hardly at all. I'm not getting a lot of notes. Just some sweet, I keep saying sweet. That's really, yeah. Well, cheers, guys. Let's go in. Wow. Just a little bit of heat on there. Very tart. I feel like it is very cherry-ishy. That's the closest thing that I can compare it to. A really dark, not a maraschino cherry, but more like just like a fresh picked, or one of those, like we just went to Traverse City recently, and cherry capital of the United States. And we had some chocolate covered cherries, just those natural dark pitted cherries. That's what I'm getting on here. It is, I don't know about it. Whoa. It's like you took that cherry and you just press it, or I guess the currant, you press that currant and you just poured that juice right in your mouth. Now it's got a little bit of that cloying sweetness, a tartness to it, which those are opposites, I guess, but just that cloying note. I kind of think of the Canadian whiskeys. It has that note, but it's not a very pleasant note. It's a bit medicinal, perhaps. I'm not sure about this neat. I tell you what, I'm gonna get a cup of ice, get some Coke. We're gonna pour some of this in Coke and give it a go. Stand by. All right, guys, we're gonna do an experiment here with Payne Black. Got a rocks glass with some ice in it. Let's pour some of this Payne Black over ice. And I got a Coke as well, just in case. All right, I don't know what the best way to hold this. There we go. I tell you what, it's fun to pour it out of the gargoyle's mouth. If nothing else, that's kind of fun. I mean, that was amusing. Look at that color, guys. I mean, I don't know how well you can see that. There's no whiskey that I have in my house that has this color to it. In this glass here, it looks, again, I think copper is a really orangish copper. I thought red initially, but I'm thinking more like orangish copper. Do you drink blended whiskeys at your house? I mean, blended American whiskeys. Do you have a flavored whiskeys? I don't drink a whole lot of flavored whiskeys. The most we get, or the closest we get to that, would be finished whiskeys, staved whiskeys. Whiskeys finished in a port, a sherry, a Madeira cask. Maker's Mark. They have the 46, and they have all the private selections, and they're finished with different staves in them. Those are all great whiskeys. This does taste different. Like, I feel like it's a different, because of the flavor, it's infused, it's not finished or staved. That's noticeable, the amount of flavoring components to it. So, all right, so Payne Black over ice. Yeah. It's those same notes. I think like a lot of the, I don't want to keep comparing it to the Canadian whiskeys, like a lot of those Canadian whiskeys that I have, the Pendleton, even the Crown Royal, they're just really designed, I think, to be blended. And I think let's blend this with, or mix it with Coke Zero. That's probably a good ratio. What do you think? Jack and Coke, anybody? How about Payne or Black and Coke? This would be Black and Coke. Yeah, there you go. That looks normal. I don't drink a lot of Jack and Cokes. I'm on an airplane, Jack and Coke. If I'm in Nashville at the honky tonks, Jack and Cokes all the time. If I'm at a dive kind of bar, Jack and Coke. It's a pretty safe thing. Most other places, I'll go for an old fashioned or a whiskey sour or something else, or something neat. All right, let's try Black and Coke. Black and Coke Zero. Okay, guys, there we go. Black and Coke, it's a thing. It's like Jack and Coke, maybe Jack and Cherry Coke, but now we have the Payne Black in Coke Zero. It is very equivalent to what I think a Jack and Cherry Coke would taste like. And we've had, actually we've had the vanilla Coke and we put it in that, not the cherry. But this is exactly what I imagine a Jack and Cherry Coke would taste like. Problem is $59, whereas you can get a bottle of Jack for $13, $19 for sure. So is this cool enough to have on your shelf for $59? That's something you have to decide. I think it looks pretty awesome. I think some of my friends would love to pour a nice Jack and a nice Black and Coke out of this bottle. Well, if I had any friends that came over to my house and drink, but I don't, so I guess it's just me. So do I think this bottle is cool enough to have on my shelf? And I guess so. I'm glad I have it. I think it looks great, and I am just gonna mix this in a Coke, and I think the bottle would be cool to have after it's all gone. Anyway, that's my review of Von Payne Black from Newport Richey in Florida. Guys, I hope you're reading something good and drinking something great. Turn the pages, my friends, and stay thirsty. Captain Mike, out.